I really think it's a sort of a breaking the people kind of approach, because with every week that passes, I think people start wondering, is anyone doing anything about it?
A lot of people feel very passionate about what's going on. It's just a shame that it feels that nobody's listening.
Now Patty's gone, but Tom's still here, 'cause the General saved his life last year. But many more, with their lives they'll have to pay if they take our hospital away. So Cabinet Man, listen to our voice. Remember, you're there by our choice.
Consensus at the meeting which was held last week was that diplomacy and dialogue was not achieving results, and the time for action had come. Subsequently, we are here tonight to elect an all-inclusive action committee comprising of representatives from the above existing bodies and all interested groups to lead whatever action is decided here tonight.
Okay, we're in the car park here behind the courthouse this morning. It's Wednesday morning, it's the day of action, and thankfully the people of Monaghan seem to be turning out in their droves. We have reports from all areas that buses are full. Indeed, we have a standby bus here, and by the looks of it, it's going to be full as well. So it looks like we're going to have somewhere in the region of, I hope, 2,000 people in Dublin. And we hope that our turnout in Dublin will be so impressive that the Minister can't but sit down and say, listen, we've got to do something in Monaghan Hospital.
Here in very bad humour with the government, especially Rory O'Hanlon, our ex-Minister for Health, who did very little for the hospital, you know. And I'm really surprised how the people of Monaghan elected him again, you know.
Today we hope to walk down to Hawkins House and present the letter of protest and demands to the officials in Hawkins House. We would see today as just the first step on a very, very long road to getting the relevant people to sit up and take notice that we will not let our health services in Monaghan fall by the wayside.
We appeal to the Minister for Health, we appeal to the Department of Health to upgrade our hospital, to restore the services to Monaghan General Hospital. What do you want? Hospital! When do you want it? Now! What do you want? Hospital! When do you want it? Now! What do you want? Hospital! When do you want it? Now! What do you want? Hospital! When do you want it? Now! What do you want?
Why did you come up?
Good day.
Why did you
to save our hospital, of course.
Right. Do you think we'll save it?
Well, we're hopeful.
Will you be there for the next journey? The Kells or wherever it is?
On the next one after that.
Wherever it is,
if it have to be, we'll be there. If we have to go to Cork, we'll be there.
They told us the plans that they have, the Department of Health have, for the refurbishment of the hospital, upgrading of the hospital in regard to wards, in regards to the boiler house, for example. Nothing new, new other than refurbishment of existing.
Well, it's been a fairly lousy summer so far, especially for the powers that be in the health service.
Another headache for the government is the ongoing problem of the status of local hospitals. The people of Monaghan had taken to the streets to protest at the effective downgrading of their local hospital.
In one tragic case, they say a life may already have been lost. Our reporter Michael Heaney's been speaking to Robin Knox, whose wife Christina died last week.
You drove that day behind the ambulance, Robbie. And how long did it take you to get to Dundalk?
It must have taken us nearly an hour.
Whereas you'd have got to Monaghan in what time?
Oh, 5 or 6 minutes. I was told the hospital was open. If I'd taken her in by car, she would have been treated. But then the ambulance wouldn't take her to Monaghan, so I don't know.
All our problems have arisen out of the Fitzgerald Report of 1967, but it wasn't activated until about 1982, you know.
Okay, well, the campaign to safeguard services in Monaghan Hospital is going on for over 20 years, and it would have begun in the 80s when Barry Desmond was the then Minister for Health, and at that stage he had the close and dispose campaign for hospitals throughout the country, and Monaghan was one of the hospitals that was chosen to be closed so that Cavan Hospital would be built as the new hospital then.
Cavan had always had a minister. If Fine Gael were in power, they had John Fitzpatrick, or whatever his name was, Fitzpatrick, and it was Fianna Fáil and John Wilson. We had the Minister of Health. This is the real irony. We had the Minister of Health and got nothing.
The battle to retain services at Monaghan General Hospital dates back to 1983, when it was decided that the hospital would lose its maternity beds and have its surgical services reduced.
So at that stage there were a group who were formed, and they were the Hospital Retention Committee, and my father was involved in that. So he would have been involved with that and going to meetings just the same as we go to meetings now. And that then led to the court case which saved the hospital at the time, because it was deemed that a hospital couldn't be closed or a service couldn't be taken by either the Minister for Health or by the health boards at the time.
Over the intervening 22 years, Monaghan Hospital has been a political hot potato, constantly reeling from threats of downgrading or closure, or boosted by promises of continued support and funding.
Well, it was decided that the Community Alliance was an important group because it was a means of allowing the public to get involved and to be there, also as a means of disseminating information about the hospital and about the hospital services, but also as a means of gathering the support of groups. So we have lots of groups, be it sporting groups, be it groups like the Irish Country Women's Association. All of those all have representatives, and as well they're representatives from throughout the county, which is really important.
The death of baby Brona Livingston in an ambulance a few miles from Cavan Hospital in December 2002, after her mother was refused treatment at Monaghan Hospital, moved the nation and reignited the debate.
I want to know from the Minister Martin why he condemned my daughter to give birth on the side of the road.
The tragedy that occurred in Monaghan last week was to appear, the same set of circumstances was to arise this week again. We are in no better position now than we were last week, and unfortunately this exact same thing would happen again. And that's why we are here, to prove to the people that we still care, and we're going to be here and we're not going to go away.
We're here today to voice our support for the Monaghan Community Alliance in their efforts to have Monaghan Hospital put back on call, to have our services restored and upgraded and developed in Monaghan General Hospital.
Verdi, don't bring Cecilia to Monaghan because we can't deliver our baby!
For 10 years, they have been bleeding the hospital by refusing to invest in resources and staffing. But now, they have dealt the final blow, the fatal blow.
Now we would say services in Monaghan have been deliberately removed. And the easiest way to kind of describe how they've done it, it's like you're going for your NCT with your car. You bring your car first of all to your mechanic, and your mechanic says, well, look, we need to fix the tyres are bald, we need to change the brake pads on your car, otherwise it's not going to pass. You get that advice. Now the obvious thing is, if you want your car to pass the NCT, you get your new brake pads and you change your tyres, and then you go for your NCT. If you don't want it to pass, you do none of the above and your car fails. That's exactly what happened in Monaghan Hospital for a number of the services that were lost.
It is now only a matter of time before the end comes, and before it becomes a glorified nursing home.
When the Hanley report was published, it seemed the fate of small county hospitals like Monaghan was sealed, as centralising hospital services became official government policy.
Well, the government's plan seems to be basically Hanley. But the Hanley report came out, and there was so much hoo-ha about it that it was really political suicide to look like you were going to accept that and implement it.
First of all, I would like to thank you all for making the effort to come here today on such a sad day for the people of Monaghan. To the gates of our central establishment, the people who are supposed to be looking after our welfare, but who have failed us in Monaghan. Yesterday, at 5 o'clock, the last patient was taken from the surgical ward in Monaghan and transferred to a nursing home. In future, all surgical cases must go to Cavan, to Drogheda, to Dublin, or to whatever hospital a bed or a trolley can be found for the patients of Monaghan.
The North East region has become the template for the rest of the country, and Professor Drum has told us this. So the HSE set up another report, the Teamwork Report. Now, the Teamwork Report was carried out by a UK group, a consultancy group. They came and their brief was to look at acute services in the North East region and to look for a future for them and how they should be laid out.
We have said it all along. Monaghan is the template for the other small hospitals in this country.
They were basically told that they shouldn't meet with anyone because Professor Drum said he didn't want this to be a biased report. So we're not sure what he means by that. It sounds like he didn't want this report in any way having any kind of slant towards patient care or talking to people who provide the care and how they best felt it should be organised. Instead, they wanted it biased the other way. They wanted bias towards management and how management wanted it.
And we know from the experience of the past 3.5 years that people will die because they will not receive hospital treatment on time.
So this group came, met with management in the different hospitals and made brief visits to the different hospitals. And then they came up with their plans. And their plans basically were that a new regional hospital should be built in the North East area, but would also take over some of North Dublin. And that the other 5 hospitals be reduced and probably lose most of their acute services. In fact, it was deemed that all acute services would be transferred to this regional hospital. Ray Harney's latest one is the whole privatisation and the co-private thing, you know, where we'll have private hospitals built on public sites.
Monaghan Hospital is a crucial fight. It means, if it loses, it means that local people, when they realise that their hospital is being closed down in order to make room for private hospitals somewhere else, when they realise that and decide that they're going to stop it, right? If they lose, then loads of other hospitals and other services are in trouble.
We say to the people of Ireland, wake it up, because it's your turn next.
Nina's in trouble, Ennis is in trouble, Portyuncle is in trouble, Trelee's in trouble, Mallow's in trouble, Portlaoise is in trouble. So many different hospitals will be in trouble. But ultimately all of us will be in trouble.
You are the ones that are going to suffer the same trauma, the same needless deaths as the people in Monaghan.
Closing down good public local hospitals is a crucial part of privatising the Irish Health Service. So the fight of the people of Monaghan is the fight basically of every person in this country.